Writing has changed the way I look at the world. It has changed the way I look at people, changed the way I look at myself, and changed it for the better. My name is Maddisen Baybrook, and I'm 17. I'm from a small town in Missouri. It's a little middle of nowhere town. I'm finishing high school and just published my book. I started writing when I was 10 years old. Just wrote off and on and never really committed to a story, never found something that was really my own. Until I was 12 years old, I came up with the idea for The Light of the Veil, and I was in love with it. As soon as I sat down and started writing, I knew that this was something that I wanted to share with the world. I think my biggest fear was honestly just it not being good enough and not conveying the message that I wanted it to. I'm a very wordy person, so it was a very, very long book. It was completely different in the first draft. It was an action book. It was not a fantasy book at all. I think every draft I did, I was trying very, very hard to get away from what it originally was. Even though I loved the structure of the story, I knew I had to get away from that and get to a fantasy book. So, yeah, I think my fear was it not being good enough and not living up to a fantasy standard. Before deciding to work with Global Book Publishing, I think my biggest fear was letting go of control and letting other people handle it and have the creativity because, yeah, I was very, very attached to my work and I still am, but it was really hard to let go and let other people handle it because I received some very harsh criticism the first time I let someone read my book. And yeah, that kind of scarred me, for lack of a better term. I did not want other people to handle it. Um, and I'm a Christian, so I wanted to maintain my beliefs and let those continue to come through my work. So finding Global Book Publishing, it was just the best of both worlds. I would 100% do it again, first of all. One of the biggest things that has made a difference is just having some voice of guidance rather than fumbling around and trying to figure everything out on my own, look it up. You can research it with all the time in the world and still not know exactly what you need to know. So having just someone to guide me through the process was a huge, huge help. I think my fears changed after working with Global Book Publishing. First, because working with the editors was absolutely one of my favorite parts of publishing. That was such a fun experience getting to collaborate with people, and everything they suggested, I loved their suggestions. I was like, oh my gosh, this is going to make it perfect. This is going to make it so much better than it was. So, working with someone who genuinely loves their job, I could tell, and loves working with people, that it's just a completely different experience. It was very fun. I really enjoyed it. I was having a meeting with Sush, and it was right before we started editing, and I was still felt pretty new to the process, pretty new to working with everyone. And I had just gotten a whole list of things I had to do, and it was incredibly overwhelmed with it. Um, and did not know how to start marketing, didn't know how to post. I didn't even know how to talk to people about this incredible thing that was happening. And she said, "You have such a sincerity. People just love that about you. You're so sincere, you're so genuine. You have to share that." And that just kind of changed my changed the way I looked at it, changed the way I looked at marketing and posting. And it really helped me connect who I am to the message of my book more so than it was already connected. Because I was like, I realized that a huge point of my book is helping other people feel seen, helping them understand their emotions, and helping them understand what what they're here for, what their purpose is. And I realized that I I can kind of do that. I can kind of connect with people and help them see that. I think one special moment when I finally got my book, was just seeing my name on it and seeing my picture on the back. And just my friends sent me pictures of it because they actually got their copies before I did. And it was so neat to see. They were so excited for me. I've always been very supportive or very supported by my friends and my family and honestly everyone around me. But just seeing how much they really loved me and were so ready to support me in this, it was very special. So my why in the beginning was, I think it was more just, this is what I have to do. This is the next step. I'm a writer. The next step is logically to get published. But as I've gone through this journey and gone through this process, not just with global book publishing, but with God, I've realized that it's not just getting it out there and then just leaving it. It's bringing it to other people and using it as a ministry, honestly, and a ministry to reach people and to help them see what God has in store for them in their lives. Honestly, it's hard to know how this is going to change the trajectory of my life. I cannot see that far down the road. I don't know what I'm going to do for school yet, but I know it's going to have a positive impact. This is absolutely what I want to do with my life. And I am just astounded that I get to start it this early in life. I think if my best friend called me and said they were thinking about starting a book but were scared, I would tell them to go for it. Absolutely. Because I've never understood myself and understood other people so well as I did when I started writing. Being able to work through things by just putting my hands on a keyboard, that is just incredible. And you can't really get that freedom and that expression anywhere else. At least I can't. Some people can. I would absolutely tell them to go for it.